I've shown this chart a couple times. I've posted it. So this here is the global M2 money supply, and this here's Bitcoin. This is why I think it's interesting. This is why I keep posting it. A lot of the macro guys that I follow that I think they make a lot of sense. Raoul Paul and some others. Raoul Pal and some others. Um, they swear by this chart, and you can see why. Like, look at how correlated the Bitcoin is to the money supply. If we would have known about this in the bear market, we could have followed it down. And let's see here. We could have followed it down to the bottom. Now, you don't see this part of the chart, so you don't know that it's the bottom. Okay? But if you followed it down to the bottom as you're following Bitcoin down to the bottom, it does indicate in advance where the bottom was. Because you get this bottom, then you get a higher high and a second higher high. And look where we are on Bitcoin during this second higher high. So this shows us the reversal. It previewed the reversal in the Bitcoin market. Because if you would have bought after confirmation after a second higher high, you would have been able to buy BTC down here in the 16,000s. And then you get three bumps. You got three bumps. You get a lower, and then you got this plateau over here. Now, something that I've noticed here is that after you get a long plateau of the money supply, Bitcoin begins to tire out and go down. Okay, but look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it starts to go up, and you get a new high and a new high, and it keeps going. And you can watch this in real time, so you can say, okay, well, let's see when is the perfect time to buy to re-enter Bitcoin, right, or DCA more Bitcoin. Well, you can count these bottoms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you were to enter at this bottom on the fourth one, then you get to enjoy this ride up that's been previewed the entire time. And as it's riding up, you see, oh, it peaks out. Are you sure that it peaks out? Well, look, by the time you get to the Bitcoin peak, you can see that it's been going down quite a bit. So you can say, you could count it. It's actually pretty accurate, even time wise. So if you were to put time from here to the peak, right? Say the first peak here, 96 days. How much time from this peak, from the bottom to the peak, the first peak here in Bitcoin? Well, let's see. So if you were to DCA in here with the intention of selling, because you can see that the M2 money supply corrects and comes down fairly hard. If you were to plan on DCAing here and DCAing out at the top, and you say, well, how do I do that? Oops, we're back here. Let me flip this around. Right now, it's not exact to the hour or to the day, but it gives you very close indications. Right? Let's see here. 100 days. Okay, 96 days, 100 days. So if you were to wait until right here, okay, well, now you're at 101, 101. That's pretty dead on to sell the peak. But even if you didn't sell the peak, you sell somewhere over here at 108 days. You sold over here at 96 days. You're still getting a massive percentage of that move. Excuse me. Now, it does it here also. It shows it here. It previews this second move up here. So how long from down here to this first peak? 53 days. I don't know if this is going to be accurate. I haven't done it. But from this bottom to this first, oh, look at that. 50 days, 55 days, 50 days. Right? You can fudge it a little bit if you wanted to. But Like you could like it's crazy accurate, right? Um, so what I'm doing is where are we now? Where are we currently? Where is this on Bitcoin or on the money supply? So if I go from the peak and I follow it down, that tells me that we're on I think like 84 day 84 or something like that. Day 80 right there, day 86. We're on day 86. Okay, so if I was to do the same thing and go from the peak here and go down to day 86, that brings us right here, day 86. Okay, I'm gonna have to zoom in here. So that brings us to day 86. So that tells me that we're in this bottom range here. We're in this bottom range before Bitcoin gets its next breakout. Okay, and we get this next breakout, we make new all-time highs as far as money flow, and it's still going straight up, so it hasn't rolled over yet. So that tells me that if we're here, I don't know if it's going to be the exact same amount of time, but from here till this point where it actually breaks and goes up is about 2 weeks from now. So seems like a pretty good time to DCA, right? Maybe it's earlier, maybe it's a few days later, but if it's as accurate as it has been in the past, we should see a breakout in Bitcoin relatively soon. So how soon? That's the question. What's typically the delay? Okay. Well, let's see. From this peak to the time where Bitcoin peaked, how long was it? From this peak to the time Bitcoin peaked, it was 68 days. Okay. From the time Bitcoin bottomed, or from the time that Global M2 bottomed to the time that Bitcoin bottomed, how long was it? 70 days. That's pretty close. 69 days, right? 69, 70 days. Right there. Right? It's in the ballpark, right? You can fudge the numbers a little bit. Okay. What about the time where it bottomed here and went to this top? Okay. So from this bottom to this bottom, and from this top to this top. Let's see, I don't know how long that is. From this bottom to this bottom, 60, 67 days, right? 68 days. And from this top to this top, let's see, from this top to this top, look at that, 70 days, 68 days, 68 days, it's very clear. It's very evident. So, so then this is what we do. From here, from this bottom, we count out, say, 68 days. From this bottom, we count out 68 days. And where does that put us? Right here. Okay? March 23rd. Somewhere around March 23rd, we should see this move as we've always seen and Bitcoin has always followed. It's always within this cycle. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I think we're in accumulation right now. It doesn't seem like it should go down a whole lot more. It could, right? Because while we were kind of going sideways here, Bitcoin went down a little bit more, right? But this this going sideways is a much shorter time than this going sideways. Okay, so and we're halfway through it. We're halfway through it. So like right now, we're sitting at, I think it was like 86 days. So we're sitting right here. Okay, so this is what we're waiting for the peak opportunity to DCA in down at that bottom. This is what I see in this specific chart, and so many other charts show that BTC and all alts are oversold, way oversold. The garbages are in the dumps, or the garbages. The sentiment is in the dumps. Everybody's just calling for bear market. That's when we're going to see this next leg up. How high does it go? Well, as we're going up, this is going to tell us. This is going to choose its direction. If it keeps going up, then I'm staying in. Then I'm staying in. If/when it rolls over, we're going to see that about 70 days in advance, and then we can plan it to try to take profit somewhere up in this area, and then you'll be able to see in advance where it finds its bottom, how long it's going to be bottoming, and then you can try to find your next entry again whenever this happens. That's what I'm looking at. I wish I would have found this chart 2 years ago, but I didn't. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. See what you think.